This morning, divers are expected back in the water, searching after that cargo ship crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge, causing its shocking collapse.
The whole bridge just fell down.
A live stream capturing the nightmarish moments of the collision. At 1:24 a.m., you can see the ship's lights turn off. They came back on a minute later as dark smoke started billowing. At 1:26 a.m., the lights go out again. 2 minutes later, the ship collides with the bridge.
Was it intentional or was it not? Like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get a notification. Anytime I go live, make a video, make sure you still subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into this. So, y'all, there's so many controversies surrounding this Baltimore cargo ship that ran into the bridge. There's so much controversy around it because allegedly, and I think it was a hoax, it was a boxer that made mention on the same day that this happened, said that there was going to be a catastrophe in Baltimore. I don't know if that tweet was verified or not, but somebody had made mention. It's the boxer that's like going crazy and they think he's high on drugs. He said the Illuminati is raping him and stuff. And so he made a post, and I saw it on somewhere, but I can't find the post, that he predicted that on that day, I think it was the 26th or something like that, that a catastrophic event was going to happen in Baltimore. Now, if it's verified, that's strange. How did he know? Others say that it's kind of ironic that the ship hit probably the only location that can take down a mass amount of that entire area. If it had gone through and hit in the middle and didn't knock down the pillar, the bridge may not have collapsed the way it did, but the tanker ended up running directly into a pillar. And another thing, and I'm gonna play the news clip for the updates. And another thing is that Joe Biden has now come out on television and made mention that he's gonna pay for it, that the United States government is gonna pay for it.
It's my intention that the federal government will pay for the entire cost of reconstructing that bridge, and I expect the Congress to support my effort. This is going to take some time. The people of Baltimore can count on us, though, to stick with them at every step of the way until the port is reopened and the bridge is rebuilt. You know, we're not leaving until this job gets done. Not leaving until then. So I just want to say God bless everybody who got everyone harmed this morning and their families. And may God bless the first responders, many of whom risking their lives. And the reason I'm not going to take a lot of questions, there's remaining issues that are open that we got to determine what's going to happen in terms of the rescue mission and the like. But
Do you plan to go to Baltimore, sir? And if so, how quickly?
I do, and as quickly as I can.
You said the federal government's also going to pay for the repairs. I'm just curious. This was a ship that appears to be at fault. Is there any reason to believe that the company behind the ship should be held responsible? And then also, you mentioned
that could be, but we're not going to wait for that to happen. We're going to pay for it to get the bridge rebuilt and opened.
Now, let me tell you why I think that's not reasonable that the United States government pays for this. It's simply because it's the cargo ship's fault. They were at fault. These ships have insurance that will protect them from damage and other stuff, or if they lose cargo, hundreds of millions of dollars probably worth of insurance. And Biden is saying, well, we're not going to wait for that to happen. Bro, you can't just be using federal tax dollars that we contribute to deal with some issue that happened in Baltimore, Maryland. Now, if the government pays for it, they have to pay the government back. You can't just absolve the company from a mistake that they made, causing an entire bridge to collapse. The insurance company don't have to pay nothing? Well, I tell you what, next time I get a wreck in my car, even if it was my fault, if I call a pile up and a bunch of people get hurt, the government need to fix it. Because the street need to be reopened. Let the state fix it. Now they're going to hit my insurance, and they probably cancel my insurance. This video is brought to you by Ground.News. Brought to you by Ground.News. They're a returning sponsor. And one thing I love about Ground.News is they support the channels like mine that keeps us up and going. And also, they're doing such a great thing. Honest to God truth, which I came up with this idea, but they're brilliant enough to do it already. Let me tell you a little bit about Ground News and how I get my information in a balanced perspective from ground.news. All you got to do when you go on the website, you can find it. Look, the cargo ship lost power, crashed into the Baltimore bridge, and you can see the left's perspective, the center's perspective, the right's perspective, and the bias comparison, which it goes through and explain the comparison and give you a quick synopsis of the difference between how leftists are covering it versus how the right and how the center is covering it. There's nobody on planet Earth that's doing this. And you can see right here how many outlets are doing left-leaning, right-leaning, center, how long it takes you, when was the last update, which is 57 minutes ago. It tells you the bias distribution, which is 66% in the center. Go through, you can see exactly the outlets. You go through the factuality rating, which is right here. It tell you that it's 81% of the sources are highly factual. Boom, boom. And then ownership, 15% of the sources are independent news. All right, and then you can see around the world how many people are covering this. Obviously, it's covered in the United States, North America, and then you have some places right over here in India and a little bit in Saudi Arabia that are covering this particular incident. Go to ground.news/Tatum to check it out. Subscribe through my link to get 40% off unlimited access, which is what I use. Ground News is independently owned and subscriber funded, so they're not pushing an agenda from ad dollars. One subscription gets you all the news from all around the world. Anyway, let me let you hear the latest. Roll the clip.
This morning, divers are expected back in the water, searching after that cargo ship crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge, causing its shocking collapse.
Let me just tell y'all this, too. I'm trying to figure out why would people be in the water. The ship hit this thing. If you were like back here on the ship, you'd be good. Why would you have to jump out the ship in the water? Not unless the people are at the front. But you would think they would have life vests and they would just jump out way back here before it ever hit the... How did they end up jumping off this thing? You know what's weird is I hope that nothing comes out where it these people had like secrets to the government or something. I hope the guy ain't nothing like that. Roll the clip.
Divers are expected back in the water, searching after that cargo ship crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge, causing its shocking collapse. And as authorities look for answers, the Wall Street Journal, citing people familiar with the probe, say investigators are looking into contaminated fuel among other leads, and whether or not it played a role in the giant ship losing power and losing control. Officials announcing overnight the search and rescue operation for 6 missing construction workers is now a recovery mission.
That at this point, we do not believe that we're going to find any of these individuals still alive.
The wife of construction worker Miguel Luna telling our sister station Telemundo he was working on the bridge at the time and she has not heard anything about his whereabouts.
Okay, so that put it in perspective. Maybe people on the bridge, when it collapsed, they're gone. And maybe they didn't have enough time to get off of the bridge. Maybe that's what happened. The people on a cargo ship, it didn't seem like they would be the ones jumping off into the water. It would be people that were on the bridge. That makes sense.
Luna, a father of 6 from El Salvador, posting a gender reveal of a grandchild just this month. The Mexican embassy in the U.S. saying the construction workers included people from Mexico, Guatemala, and El Salvador.
The whole bridge just fell down.
A live stream capturing the nightmarish moments of the collision. At 1:24 a.m., you can see the ship's lights turn off. They came back on a minute later as dark smoke started billowing. At 1:26 a.m., the lights go out again. 2 minutes later, the ship collides with the bridge. We flew overhead, witnessing the full scope of the destruction. As we get in closer, you're struck by how this bridge, something that appears to be sturdy with concrete and steel and pilings, can now look like this, all of it gone or wrapped around the...
You know, that's the scariest thing in the world, to be on a bridge like that when it collapses. You're talking about a roller coaster adrenaline rush like never before. That is insane. I do that all the time. I drive across stuff and I'm like, man, if this thing just come crashing down, what does that feel like? I don't want to ever find out.
The cargo vessel that crashed into it. The vessel, identified as the Singapore flag container ship Dali, was headed to Sri Lanka. The ship's operator, Synergy, says all crew members have been accounted for and that it's cooperating with the investigation. The crew aboard the ship sending a mayday call just before striking the bridge.
Hold all traffic on the Key Bridge. There's a ship approaching. It just lost their steering. So until you get that under control, we got to stop all traffic.
That signal giving authorities just enough time to close the bridge to traffic, likely saving lives. Sean Jackson actually loaded up the ship that crashed into the bridge. Did you notice anything strange yesterday?
No, I did not. Just a regular day. You know, I would have never thought in a million years that would happen.
Now, as for the missing, the Coast Guard says they still have not located the people who likely lost their lives in this disaster, but they're not going to stop searching for them. They are up against some very big odds, including little to no visibility in the river just behind me, plus that bridge debris that could injure them or breach their diving gear.
So I guess as time goes along, it'll be unveiled as to the extent of what happened. It's very unfortunate, you know, that people lose their lives doing this. It's an accident from what it looked like. And I don't think anybody's responsible. But the conspiracy theories are out there, and I wonder, is any of it true? You know, what are the odds in a million years this ship loses power right at the time where it hit this bridge and knocked the whole thing down? And, you know, the president of the United States talking about we're going to pay for it. You know, it's insane. But anyway, I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.